Hello everyone and welcome back to the Vexillocast, a vexing conversation about flags and flag history, a visual media discussed through an audio medium. I'm your host, Violet Jackson.
And I'm your co-host, Roxy Milliken.
And thank you all so much for joining me on another very special episode. I'm super excited to get into it. But before we get started, I just want to get into some podcast housekeeping. If you like this podcast or want to show your support, make sure you like this podcast and leave a comment. Tell me that you like the podcast, tell me your favorite part, or just tell me if I missed anything. All comments are appreciated. Also, make sure that you follow us on wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. Finally, if you want to interact with the podcast further, keep the conversation going. You can tell me on Facebook, TikTok, and on YouTube, all at the Vexillocast. Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Sounds great to me.
Oh my gosh, Roxy, you're way ahead of me today. Okay, so we are going to be talking about state flags. This is something that really grinds my gears. I hate state flags with a passion. So I'm not even going to go into like the tourist destination corner because we do not have time. I am going to be rambling about state flags and getting into like maybe a bit of history, but we do have some really good flag designs in here as well.
I mean, we've got 50 chances at it. We've got to have a couple of good ones, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some good ones, but I will say that what I would consider to have good flag design, there are only 11 out of
50.
Out of 50. I hate state flags. They're so bad.
That's not a good batting rate. We're not hitting home runs very often, huh?
Nope, not really. So we're going to get started with the good flags. We're going to go from the good flags to all the way to the worst.
All right.
And I will talk extensively on the ones that are bad. They mostly have the same problem, but I'm going to talk about Alabama real quick. I'm going to try and get through these first 11 as fast as possible, even though I have a lot written about them. So Alabama is a white flag with a red saltire or St. Andrew's cross. As we've mentioned before, it's presumed to be based on the Florida flag, but resembles more the Confederate flag.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so much so that an article from the year 1900 said that people should fly it because it resembles the Confederate flag.
Oof.
Oh, man. This theory actually circled for quite a long time, but there's actually no document or anything saying that it should resemble the Confederate flag. So basically, like, you can speculate about it, but there's nothing saying that it's Confederate related.
But if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck.
I mean, it's Alabama.
Yeah. All the bad assumptions you can make right there.
Alabama, and then it's based on Florida.
Two not great states.
Two misses. I've also seen that the Florida flag is based on like the Spanish flag.
I don't see it at all.
Well, it's the old Spanish flag, the one with the saltire. Maybe there's a lot of speculation with the Alabama and Florida flag. Alaska, blue field with 7 stars arranged in the Big Dipper and one in the top right corner. The Big Dipper represents Ursa Major. The star on the right side represents Polaris, the North Star, representing that Alaska is the northernmost state. It's actually ranked 5th best by the North American Vexillological Association. Did a study in 2001 and ranked all 72 United States flags, territories, and Canadian provinces. And they came out with this list. Alaska was ranked 5th.
I mean, stars are awesome.
Stars are cool. And the way that it was represented, Ursa Major and representing like the northernmost state, that's a pretty solid design.
I mean, it almost looks like the Big Dipper is trying to catch the star.
Yeah.
Like it's going to fall into it like it's a pot or something.
Yeah. I actually have a story with the Alaska flag, even though I've never been to Alaska or anywhere near. In Pittsburgh, we have this place called the Veterans Memorial. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really breathtaking. There's all 50 flags lined up next to each other. I was looking at it one day and saw that the Alaska flag was flying upside down.
Really?
Yeah. It's apparently that's a pretty common mistake. And there's another flag that I'll talk about later that also has some mistakes with that. Like sometimes you'll find it flying upside down.
Yeah, it's like you're going to drop the star on the Alaska flag.
Yeah.
Don't drop it.
Yeah, whoops. Alaska is a cool flag, but I've seen sometimes where the flag is accidentally flown upside down.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Alaska flag is pretty prone to doing that.
Yeah, I can definitely see how people could get that wrong.
I mean, flying a flag upside down shows that a place is in distress.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Alaska is in too much distress.
No, not really.
Or it has too many reasons to.
You can't be stressed out about any one thing. There's too many things to worry about. Whenever you have to carry a handgun in case of bears, I think you've got bigger things to worry about.
Which will kill you first, bear or the blizzards?
Both at once.
So Arizona, next one on the list. Blue and gold are the colors of Arizona. Red and gold are the colors carried by Coronado's expedition of 1540. The rays are made to look like a sunset because the sun sets in the west, and Arizona is a western state.
Mm-hmm.
There are 13 rays to represent the 13 colonies. The blue is the same color as the blue on the American flag, and the copper star is to represent that Arizona is the largest copper producer. In 1917, the legislature passed a bill that would make it the official flag, but the governor at the time, Thomas Edward Campbell, refused to add his signature.
Why? Did he not like it, or?
I guess he really didn't like it.
It's a great flag.
This flag is ranked 6th by NAVA. It is a really good flag, and the North American Vexillological Association thinks it's a very good flag too. So we're going to go on to Colorado.
All right.
3 horizontal stripes of blue, white, blue, a red C left to center with a yellow circle in the middle. Pretty simple design.
Mm-hmm.
The blue represents the skies, white represents the mountains, and the yellow represents sunshine, and the red represents, quote, ready earth. It used to be a seal on a blue background, which, great.
Yeah. We're going to get into those, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll get there in a moment. But it changed in 1911 and was adjusted in 1964 because the C was just in the white stripe.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a bit smaller, and so in 1964 they changed that. The Colorado flag is ranked 16th by NAVA.
Mm-hmm. It definitely feels, whenever you're looking at them stacked up against all of them, it looks the most modern.
Yeah.
It feels like a flag for current day. Some of the other flags we're going to get to look like they were invented in the, 1800s,
Yes.
but obviously we're still using them today.
Right. We're going to go on to Hawaii. This one's an interesting one. It's a British ensign in the canton, and 8 horizontal stripes of white, red, blue, white, red, blue, white, red. And it's the only state to have another country represented on it. It represents the relations that Hawaii and King Kamehameha I had with the Royal Navy. So that's why they have that. And it's not like they were owned by the British. I think they are their own independent country. But just because of the relations there, it was something that really stuck.
Almost like showing a respect in a way.
Right, right. It was still used even after the overthrow of the Hawaiian Kingdom in 1893. The Hawaiian Sovereignty Movement, which calls for the independence of self-governance of Hawaii.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a pretty big organization there. They fly the flag upside down, which is honestly what I see the most often online.
Yeah.
If the Hawaiian flag is depicted, then it's upside down.
I mean, that's an extremely popular movement. Not to tip the scales too much, but I do believe that they should have their own independent movement again.
Yeah.
They definitely deserve it. But...
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have no connection to Hawaii whatsoever, but I feel like if that's what they want, then give it to them. So the North American Vexillological Association, they rank the Hawaiian flag 11th overall. So we're starting to get a little lower on the scale, but it's not all the way down to 72.
We're slipping down the ladder slowly but surely.
Yeah, but we'll get back to the top and we'll figure out who has number 1.
All right.
Hi, you're listening to the Vexillocast, a vexing conversation about flags. Stay tuned because we'll be right back. So we're going to go to Maryland. This is a really divisive flag in terms of like personal interest and historical context. It's divided into quadrants, represents the 2 families that founded the state, the Crosslands and the Calverts. The top left and bottom right are the Crosslands. It's a red and white cross, which in itself is divided into quadrants. Bottom left and top right represent the Calverts, which is a diagonal yellow and black checkered pattern. I know we're kind of at odds with the
American
the Maryland flag. I actually got one for myself,
Yeah.
which I find interesting, and I hang it up in my room occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
I've also never been to Maryland, but I think it's a pretty decent flag.
I truly believe that on my scale, based on what I judge a lot of things by, like my shoe choices and my fashion choices, it is funky, and I love funky. Whenever you look at it compared to everything else, it's all either seals or blue or more blue, and then this one is like, bam, yellow and red, and it's split into 4. What in the world is going on? I love it.
I remember when we first talked about it, like I mentioned the Maryland flag, and you're like, whoa, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And you looked it up and it was like, oh my gosh, that's horrible.
It's horrible, but I love it so much.
Since we're kind of at odds with this flag, I want you to guess where Maryland would rank, or how would Neva rank Maryland on a scale from 1 to 75?
Well, you already said it's in the higher tiers.
It is a little higher.
I'm going to say it's like kind of middle-ish of the pack for the high, like 17, 18. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Neva kind of disagrees with you, and probably all of Maryland would disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland is ranked 4th by Neva.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really common there. I'm sure. Like I see at soccer games, any kind of sporting event, any kind of memorabilia associated with Maryland has that flag. Next, we're gonna go into New Mexico. Next, we're gonna go into New Mexico. So New Mexico, I already covered in episode 1, and so I'm just gonna go through this really quick. Yellow and red represent Old Spain. The Zia sun rays represent seasons, life, parts of the day, and directions, and is actually rated number 1 by Neva. So this is the very, very best of the best.
I mean, it's simple, it's clean, it's everything you need in a flag, tons of symbology, great colors, perfect.
Yeah, so it's really amazing, but I showed you the old New Mexico flag before we started recording, and it is much worse.
Talk about a glow up.
Yeah, glow up for sure. So the old New Mexico flag, it's a turquoise looking background, like a dark color, with New Mexico in the middle, just bold white letters. The top left is a 48-star American flag as the canton. The top right is the number 47 to represent that is the 47th state. And the bottom right, of course, the state seal.
Of course. Can't get away from a seal.
You cannot escape the state seal. But New Mexico did it right. They changed that, and I actually have a neighbor, apparently, in my apartment complex who has a New Mexico license plate.
Yeah.
And it has the flag on the license plate. Like it's a yellow license plate with the Zia sun in the middle.
That's super cool.
It is really cool, especially to see it depicted on the license plate. It's really amazing.
That shows the pride that some people have in their flags. Right. You know, whenever you have a flag that you can actually be proud of, you're going to put that on everything.
Yeah, you see it everywhere. You want to show that off for sure. Next is Ohio. Ohio is a state flag that is not rectangular. It's very weird. It's like one of the few flags that is non-rectangular. The one that I can think of, and that right off the top of my head, which is very recognizable, is the flag of Nepal.
Yes, it's a great one.
Yes, I love the flag of Nepal. It's wonderful. It is called the Ohio Burgie, and it's a swallowtail flag with 2 points, 5 horizontal stripes, 3 red, 2 white, representing roads and waterways. The blue chevron represents hills and valleys, and there are 17 stars on the flag, 13 which are nearest to the hoist. Those 13 represent the colonies, and the 4 added on the other side represent Ohio being the 17th state. The O in the middle of the chevron represents Ohio being nicknamed the Buckeye State. It is ranked 15th by Neva.
It's a pretty good flag. I know living in Kentucky, we're right up against it, and I know a lot of Ohio like tourism ads that we would get. They would use that little O as the O in Ohio. Yes. So it was like visitohio.com or what have you.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. I also know that the Ohio flag has a real issue with wind. It tends to get replaced the most often.
Does it just tear because of the 2 different tails on it?
Yeah, the tails whip really hard, and like it tears the flag.
That would make sense.
Yeah. South Carolina, blue background with a palmetto tree, which is the state tree. and that's in the middle, and a crescent moon in the top left corner. The blue and the moon are to represent soldiers who took possession over Fort Johnson during the Revolutionary War because they wore blue and their caps had a crescent moon on them. And that was the first time that the flag was ever flown.
Really?
Yes.
Whenever they actually took over the fort?
They had to make a flag to show that the fort was in possession of South Carolinians. So they made that flag. And it's gone through a few iterations, and it's still going through a few iterations, which I'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah.
But this was a Revolutionary War flag.
That shows you how long it's been around. And it honestly looks pretty clean, too.
It's wonderful, and Neva thinks so as well. It's ranked 10th overall.
That's a good ranking for that, too.
I think so, too. Next, we're going to go over to Tennessee, which is personally one of my favorite state flags because I have a personal story with it.
All right.
I lived there from when I was in kindergarten to like the beginning of second grade. And I remember around first grade, the class went in the library and this person, I don't know who it was, they came in and held out the Tennessee flag and they talked about the meaning of it and they had us repeat it.
How much of it do you remember?
Oh, I remember all of it.
Oh, yeah. Early kids, they remember everything.
Yes. For some reason, this stuck with me, even though I knew nothing about flags, and my interest came about, as I've talked about, in around like 2018. So this was predated that by about 12 years.
Quite literally plant the seed and walk away.
Yeah.
It'll blossom on its own.
Yeah. So the stars in the middle, as we've been taught, was mountains, hills, and as flat as a pancake.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So that's actually not exactly what they mean. Like, yes, it represents like the parts of Tennessee. It's not mountains, hills, and as flat as a pancake. It represents the East, Middle, and West Tennessee.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because they're very different from each other. The circle represents unity of those three parts, and the blue bar on the right, it actually represents nothing.
It's just nothing?
Well, there's no real meaning behind it, but there is a purpose. The designer wanted the flag to be recognizable even when it's hanging limp, even when it's not flying. He just basically said, there's too much red, and just put a blue stripe on there.
So it's a flag that has a little addition just for the aesthetics, huh?
Yeah,
good vibes.
It's just an aesthetic stripe. Like, there's no meaning behind it.
I mean, it does make it stand out, and I can definitely see how whenever it's just laying pretty much flat against a flagpole, you can tell, oh, okay, that I know what that flag is.
Right, and like I see quite often that the circle in the middle with the 3 stars, it's pretty much on anything that basically represents Tennessee. That circle in the middle, and it's on like sports memorabilia, anything like that, anything that shows Tennessee, it's that circle with 3 stars. Now, I got to tell you that the stars have to be 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom. That is very specific. And even,
like we were talking about the Chinese stars all having to point to the one big star.
Yes.
They're very specific about that.
Yes, it's very specific. The designer said that you have to have the 2 stars on the top. The Capitol building of Tennessee, I believe it was like the legislature building, a journalist was going into the building and realized that there was 1 star on the top of the flag.
Flew it upside down.
Yeah, the Capitol building flew it upside down at one point. And this guy took a picture of it, and it made national news.
That's hilarious. That's so good.
It was quite a sight to see. It's always interesting to find pretty significant places flying a flag upside down on accident. Because, like, I know people don't mean anything by it if it's something like that. I know there's a meaning behind it when somebody flies the American flag upside down or some other flag.
That is definitely a political statement, usually.
Hawaii. But Tennessee, it's just a goof up. Alaska, same thing.
Yeah.
So last one on our list, we're going to go to Texas.
All right.
This once served as a national flag for Texas because Texas was its own country at one point.
They tried it. They gave it a shot.
They tried. And it has 1 star on it, which actually gave the nickname to Texas. It wasn't the other way around. So it's the Lone Star State because of the flag.
I always thought it was the other way around.
Yeah. This is a really interesting fact about the California flag. The star on the California flag actually represents Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
They were both allies in separating from Mexico. So they were both pretty much on the same side. How times have changed.
Brothers in arms.
The red, white, and blue, they represent bravery, purity, and loyalty. And that's pretty simple there. The Texas flag, I haven't put like what ranking it is.
Oh, you want to look it up real quick? Or...
Oh, I know exactly what it is.
Okay, what is it?
The Texas flag is ranked second by NAVA.
So New Mexico and then Texas,
So
huh?
New Mexico, and then after it's Texas.
Man, I think NAVA has a southern bias here. A southwest bias.
Or just the Southwest is really good at designing flags.
That's true. It could be that. It's all the heat.
I think the third, which is between, New Mexico, Texas, and then Maryland, I believe that's Quebec.
Oh.
The Quebec flag we talked about in the French episode.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
With the four fleur-de-lis. Hi there. You're listening to part 1 of a 2-part podcast. I'm your host, Violet Jackson, with my co-host, Roxy Milliken. This is produced by me, Violet Jackson, and music is V's Vexillology by Jade, Weston. If you liked the episode, make sure to tell us and follow us on wherever you get your podcasts. Tell a friend about our podcast, or tell a stranger, tell an enemy, do what you want. Make sure to also follow us or message us on Facebook, TikTok, and on YouTube at the Vexillocast. The next episode will be out soon. With that, Vexillocast signing off. This is the Vexillocast, coming back for part 2. So we're going to go into state flags that are, they're okay. They have some flaw to it, but they're not what we're going to get into. They're not too bad. We have Arkansas, California, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Iowa, Mississippi, Nevada, North Carolina, Rhode Island, and Wyoming.
All right.
So some of these actually have seals on them, but they're not on a blue background. I would say if there's a redesign that would eliminate the seal or just make that seal like a simple design. I've seen Florida's as like the seal instead of that is just like a sun.
That could look pretty good.
Because it's the sunshine state. Just stuff like that would fix that.
Just taking that seal and flipping it, using some of the same motifs, but just making it not another seal.
Yep. Arkansas, California, Indiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, and Rhode Island have words on them. Other than that, they're decent. But I understand with a few of them, though. Like, if North Carolina removed their lettering from their flag, it would almost be indistinguishable from the Texas flag. Like, you still have the star on there, but the North Carolina flag has a red horizontal stripe on the top, and Texas has a white one.
You can copy my homework, but don't look like you copied it.
Yeah, no kidding. With the Mississippi flag, the requirement for that new flag, I know they changed it in November of 2020.
Yeah, that could definitely be it. Just that was the impetus to start like looking at things a bit more critically.
Yeah, and I looked up the requirements of like what the new flag should include, and one of them was to include the words "In God We Trust," or else it would be like an invalid flag.
Really?
So that was completely unavoidable.
Yeah.
So we have a better flag than what we had for sure, but that's the only flaw that I see is those words "In God We Trust."
Just remove that stricture, much better flag.
Perfect flag. And then California, despite it being mediocre at best, to me personally, it's really popular. You see it everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's on merchandise for so many companies. I see California flags and hoodies even here in Kansas.
Yeah, I've seen the same thing too.
Yep.
I wonder if it's California popularity that then spawns a popularity of the flag or vice versa, you know?
It might be. That's a really good point to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
According to Neva, though, is ranked 13th overall.
Oh, unlucky.
I mean, that's really impressive considering all that. Everyone else has no excuse. Like, I gave a few with like North Carolina, Mississippi, California. Everyone else, problematic.
We're coming for you.
We're coming for you. We're heading to your location very soon. And then we have oh boy, we're getting to the bad ones.
All right.
This is where my rant starts. So 27 states. This is over half. Over half the states have state seals on them.
This is like hitting a gutter ball for half of your shots.
Yes.
Like, this is awful.
Oh my God, this is so horrible. Like, I know people outside of the states, like, look at American flags and are just horrified.
Well, yeah, if you're living in France or Germany, you're like, those are some good flags. And our history are good flags, too. And then you look at America and it's like, more blue, huh?
Dear God.
More blue.
I hate these. I hate these so much. So we're going to go through all 27 states.
All right.
I'm just going to list them all by name. Shout out to these guys. Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, North Dakota, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming.
We won't forget about you, Wyoming.
No, we have words to say to you, Wyoming. I know since we're both in Kansas, this is the one that I'm actually most familiar with, even though, like, I hate it.
Looks bad. So bad.
It's horrible. So, yeah, Kansas is ranked 69th out of 72. That's horrible.
Well, in fact, that's the one reason I moved to Kansas. Just to be in the nice state.
Nice. So the quote on it, ad astra per aspera, means to the stars through difficulty. Sunflower on there is like the sunflower state. Anything else I just really didn't care about.
That motto? Keep the motto, just don't put it on the flag. Great motto.
I love the motto. The stars on there, they represent like whatever number state Kansas was admitted to the Union. I want to say it's 39, but I could be wrong.
You got me.
Yeah, that's Kansas. I would want to change the Kansas flag immediately, like, because I live here and I want to be proud of this state.
Oh, I'd love to be proud of it. Literally, I was just sitting in the parking lot the other day outside of one of our government buildings, and it looks so bad flying next to everything else. Right. It looks so bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. We have so many towns and cities that have really good flags, like Wichita, Topeka, Manhattan, Kansas. I know I've shown you that.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Solid flag.
It's kind of sad that we have to fly our city flags instead of our state flag. Don't get me wrong, I love all those flags, but I would like to also have the state flag be something I can be proud in.
Exactly, you have to be proud of everything. So I got through all the states with seals on them. I've already pointed out I hate all of these, but we're going to get the special recognition for being bad.
All right.
I have a few.
Get down to the muck.
Yes. Illinois, New Jersey, Oregon, and Wisconsin. Illinois is the first one I'm going to start with, and oh boy. So when you think of Illinois, you first think of the Chicago flag, which is a beautifully done flag. It is one of the best flags that I've seen.
I was on a trip there for 3 days, and I swear I saw countless people that had it tattooed, or hats, or, stickers on their bikes, or anything. It was everywhere.
Yes, it's everywhere. And it's flown next to the Illinois flag. Oh my God. It has like a poorly drawn eagle on it with so many things in the background. It's a lot. And it has the state name under it, and it's all on a white background. So no real creativity there. Yeah.
It's literally you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about against the Chicago flag.
It's so bad. This is one of the first flags that needs to change.
Absolutely.
Because when you're represented by one of your cities, that's a problem.
I bet if you ask someone what the Illinois flag is, they probably couldn't even tell you.
No.
They would just think, oh, no, Chicago, it's that, right? Pretty much.
No, and that's the majority of states here. That's the problem. If you ask anybody from like all these 27 states, they probably won't tell you the flag. They don't even know.
I bet if you took a poll of everyone in America, how many of them knew the Kentucky flag, excluding people in Kentucky, I bet you would have like a 20% response of people who actually know what the Kentucky flag looks like.
I think you'd get less.
Honestly, yeah, maybe.
Not even 20%. I would say maybe 5.
Yeah. And only that because it's been in the news recently. So.
Right. New Jersey. New Jersey doesn't have a blue background, but it has like this gross kind of yellow, and that's what I have a problem with.
It's a bad yellow.
I hate that flag. It's really gross. I mean, it has a seal on it, which is bad enough. I mean, I guess it's different than the blue background that most states use, but gosh, how does it get worse?
Yeah, it's already a seal, and then you pick an awful color to put it on. If you're gonna have a seal, just do blue like everybody else.
Right.
Don't stand out in your badness.
Like, you can stand out. All these good flags, the 11 that I pointed out, they stand out. That's a good way to stand out. New Jersey does it so poorly.
Much like their actual state. They deserve it.
Yep. I've never been to New Jersey. I don't know.
The worst New York, as far as I know.
Oregon. Wow, I used to find this flag pretty interesting because it has a weird concept, and then I've learned to really hate it. The state flag has the state seal on the front with the words State of Oregon 1859, which is so gross.
Ugh.
Gosh, I hate...
It looks like a meme flag that someone would make.
And it has like this kind of weird font to it, and on the back, it's a two-sided flag.
Oh, yay.
Wow. It's the only two-sided flag in the United States, and on the back, it's just a yellow beaver.
That's one way to stand out, but it's very not good.
Blue background on both sides.
Hot take, they should replace it, but they should keep that as two-sided, because that's cool, but make both designs cool.
I think if you have a flag that needs two sides, it's a horrible flag. Like, you need to have something that would be simple enough to put on one side and it represents what you need to represent. This doesn't do it. You think you need more on the flag, so you put it on the back.
You need more canvas space because you took it all up with words.
Yeah. My God. Wow. The Oregon flag is especially bad because you can't see the entire flag in one space. It's almost like a little surprise. It's like, oh, that's a really bad flag. Oh, it has a back?
It's like you're walking past the courthouse or something. You're like, yeah, that's not a great flag. And then you walk back the other way because you're walking back to your car and like, hey, that's also bad. What in the world?
What?
It couldn't even be one good, one bad, yin and yang. It has to both be bad?
Like, what's that doing back there? And then we have Wisconsin. It's a slightly lighter shade of blue with the words Wisconsin 1848 around it, which, that's bad. Don't do that. And it's around a seal, which, I wouldn't really care about. Like, I think it's a seal. No, I would call it a coat of arms. So the Wisconsin coat of arms, and then inside the coat of arms is another coat of arms.
A flag on a flag.
Oh my gosh. Don't put a flag on your flag. I don't know if this is worse or better. I think this is on the same level of bad because you have your coat of arms and then you have the American coat of arms inside your coat of arms.
Just double coat of arms. Now we need to put a flag inside of that second coat of arms. A flag on your coat of arms and your coat of arms on your flag.
Okay, listen. The coat of arms, or the American coat of arms is just the flag. So like it has like blue on the top and then the stripes go down, and so it's vertical alternating red and white stripes. So basically, in a way, you do have a flag on your flag.
It's a flag on a coat of arms on a flag.
You have a flag with a coat of arms with a coat of arms that has a flag.
It's like 1 or 2 degrees separation from literally just being a flag on a flag.
I think this is the most problematic flag I've ever seen, and we talked about Bolivia.
It's real rough. It's real bad. At least Bolivia had the Wafala going for it.
Bolivia had a backup plan. Wisconsin has nothing.
It had a plan B.
Hi, you're listening to the Vexillocast, a vexing conversation about flags. Stay tuned, because we'll be right back. Okay, so we've gotten through the special recognition for being bad. Now we go a little bit deeper and talk about the special recognition for being somewhat racist.
Welcome to America, baby.
Welcome to America. So we did talk about Alabama and Florida, but that's only speculation. We don't necessarily know.
It's not like they come right out and say it, right? No flag would ever do that.
No. I did see an article about it that said if Alabama's flag was supposed to represent the Confederacy, they would be a little less discreet about it.
Yeah, they would.
So
they'd be loud and proud about that.
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, Alabama and Florida, that's only speculation about it being racist. Only speculation talking about the Confederacy. But Arkansas is a little less discreet.
What are all those stars doing there?
So Arkansas has I'm only going to talk about the racist part. So it has some meaning behind it, like the diamond being the largest diamond producer in the states.
Didn't know that.
And then the word Arkansas in the middle, which I don't like.
It almost looks like a patch you'd find on a pair of jeans, like
Right.
a little Levi's signature or something.
Yes.
It's Arizona, you know?
Yes.
Or not Arizona, Arkansas. My apologies.
Yes. So you have the Arkansas in the middle, but what's also in the middle is 4 stars in the middle of the flag, and that represents their participation in the Confederacy.
Oh, we're just out and saying it. Like,
Yeah, just straight up. That's in their description. They say that straight.
we loved seceding so much so we're going to put it on our flag.
We put that Confederate participation in our flag, and we talk about it. The next on our list, alphabetically, Georgia. I talk about Georgia extensively about how problematic and how they cannot get a flag right.
Yeah, they really can't.
They can't avoid being racist. Georgia really has a history about making bad flags. Their previous flag was a seal on a blue background with a banner at the bottom containing their last 3 bad flag designs. And on either side of the banner are American flags with the words "In God We Trust" at the bottom, which at the time of the NAVA survey in 2001, this was the flag that they had.
Oh, man.
And out of 72, it was ranked 72nd.
Really?
This was the worst flag in North America. For good reason. They had 5 flags on their flag.
You have a flag on your flag.
On the flag. And one of them had the Confederate flag on their flag. So you have a flag inside a flag that has 4 flags, one of them twice, on the flag.
Not only do you have a flag on your flag, it's a racist flag on your flag.
And it's racist. There we go. They changed that. That's great.
Woo!
Bonus points. They changed it to the literal stars and bars that were used during the Civil War of the Confederacy.
Boo.
Like I said, Georgia cannot get a flag right without being racist. Like, you see the Confederate flag, and it's that saltire with stars across it, and it's like reddish orange color. So the flag that was used during the Civil War was this blue canton with a circle of stars and 3 horizontal stripes going red, white, red.
Yep.
That's exactly the Georgia flag, but with the coat of arms in the canton. They
just really love their heritage, you know?
I don't understand why people don't see this immediately as, like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I see that once I learn more about flags and flag history. This is the first one that popped out to me as, like, that's not right. And I saw Mississippi.
Yeah, it's almost a crime that we've let it stay that way for that long, you know?
And what sucks is that this isn't the only flag on this list. We have more flags to go through.
We have an issue with racism in this country, in case you couldn't tell.
We fought a whole war about this.
We're still fighting a war over it.
Oh my god. So we're going to go to Maryland. It's a good flag, but it has a history to it.
Yes.
During the Civil War, the state was divided on whether to be a part of the Union or not. So they divided the flag. The Calverts represent the Union, and the Crosslands represent the Confederacy.
Oh.
So the red and white cross is like the Confederate part, and the checkerboard pattern is the Union. But it's back together. I really don't know what to make of that history.
Yeah, that's kind of something that I feel like people who live in Maryland should reckon with. Whether it's just some discussions that need to be had and some public reckoning, or if they feel like changing it, but they seem to love it, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's a good flag, and I feel like it represents Maryland well. And I guess they really couldn't do anything to stop that part of history.
Yeah, it did happen.
It did happen, but I don't think... It was not intended to be that way. I'm not really sure how to approach the Maryland flag.
It should be something that whenever we're discussing it, should be brought up in context with it. Like,
Yes.
say whatever you want to say about the flag. It does have this history to it.
Yeah.
Now we can discuss it with that on the table.
Yeah, so we can talk about it as like a good flag and appreciate its design and know that it represents their people and the people really like it, but we also need to talk about the historical context of it.
Much how we talk about certain writers of being like, well, they held these beliefs outside of their writing and inside of their writing. Let's put it there so we can talk about the importance of it, because we can't deny the importance and the popularity.
Next, we're going to go to Massachusetts. It doesn't necessarily ring racism, but it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. It has an arm holding a sword suspiciously right above the depiction of a Native American man.
There's some implications there.
I feel like there's an implication, but I'm not exactly sure. That's like the few things that are on the flag is an arm holding a sword, Native American man on a shield, and a star.
Yeah. What else are you supposed to take away from that?
I really don't know. Now, I told you that I'd get back to Wyoming. And I told you before this, the official reasoning just gets worse the more you say it. Wyoming, the least popular state by quite a margin, has a real statement of a flag.
For good or for ill, it's a statement.
It's a statement. And we're just going to talk about one of the colors.
Oh, no.
We're going to talk about the color red. Wyoming's red color is to represent the blood of Native Americans and pioneers who gave their lives.
Ooh.
And I'm talking like straight quote, the blood of Native Americans and pioneers who gave their lives, unquote.
Wow. That's, gave implies a certain consent and willingness there whenever there was not.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how we haven't reckoned with, racism in this country. We certainly haven't reckoned with Native American genocide in this country.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, this one's still a real problem, and we have not addressed that at all.
The fact that they can bald-faced say Native Americans gave their lives.
Ooh.
As if they were fighting back some nebulous threat with the pioneers,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh gosh. We're not going to linger on that too much because we don't have much time left. State flags that are making changes. We're going to end on a positive note. I promise. So we have state flags with making changes. Minnesota has a flag that many people are using right now, but it isn't the official flag, of course. It's called the North Star flag. It was designed in 1989, so it's been around a long time.
Yeah.
It has a yellow star in the top left. The field is mostly blue, and the lower third of the flag has like a white wavy line at the bottom, like the bottom is green.
That's a good flag.
Yeah, it's a solid flag, and people fly it quite a bit. I see it on shops all the time, like more so than the official Minnesota flag.
Yeah.
But they've been fighting this for quite a while. I'm not sure how close they are to getting a new flag.
Let's wish them luck. If they have a groundswell of support, like people are already flying it, why not just make it official?
Yeah, here's to hoping.
Yeah.
South Carolina, they want to make a few minor changes, and they tried to, like in 2020, like they tried to make a few tweaks to the flag and people didn't like it. So it's not like a major overhaul. Like it's a few changes to like the palmetto tree and making it maybe more or less detailed. We're not sure. It's not a big deal, but there's a plan in place.
Yeah. Whenever you've got the main design, all you have to do is tweak it every now and then for differing tastes.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. And then Utah is another one. They technically have a commemorative flag that they're already using. And it was used for the 125th anniversary of statehood. And there are plans to make it the official flag of the state.
Awesome.
It basically is divided into quadrants, but triangles, like a diagonal quadrant.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And like the sides are white, the top is blue, the bottom is red, and then there's like a circle in the middle where maybe a seal would go, but in fact it has a beehive.
Thank goodness, no seals.
Yes, it's a throwback to the original flag, which has a beehive in the seal.
So, like we said earlier, take the thing from the seal and make that your image.
Exactly.
Don't just slap the seal on there.
Exactly. The seal is made for like official documents and stuff. Don't put it on a flag. You're
Yeah,
not
like
gonna
governor
know,
orders.
yeah, you're not gonna know what flag it is if you're standing from afar.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for listening to the Vexillocast. I'm your host, Violet Jackson.
And I'm your co-host, Roxy Milliken.
And this is produced by me, Violet Jackson, and music is V's Vexillology by Jade, Weston. If you like this episode, make sure to tell us and follow us on wherever you get your podcasts. Tell a friend about our podcast, or heck, tell a stranger, tell an enemy. Do what you want.
Proselytize on the street.
Exactly. Make sure to also follow us or message us on Facebook, TikTok, and on YouTube, all at the Vexillocast. The next episode will be out soon. With that, Vexillocast, signing off.